Good morning, everyone. This is Archit Rajesh, General Manager IT and Group CISO at TeamLease Services. And we are here to have an interesting discussion on drones revolution in India, transforming workforce management. India may be the third largest drone market by 2025. With India anticipated to be the world's drone powerhouse, the logistics, e-commerce, retail, defense, and agro industries will certainly benefit. According to Drone Industry Insights Report 2020, the global drone industry will reach $42.8 billion by 2025. With new drone laws in India, how will this affect the bigger picture? That's a big question to answer. Despite being in its infancy, drone delivery is often regarded as the best way to transport small goods, medicines, and food to remote, road inaccessible areas. Our discussion will focus on people, processes, and goods and how will they evolve. Joining us for this amazing discussion, we have an even amazing panel of industry experts. Please allow me a moment to introduce our industry experts who will be participating in this engaging discussion. We have with us Brigadier Arun Dravid. With over 4-decade journey in the defense forces, he has experienced the rigorous and evolutions in changing trends for deployments of both man and machine. Having served in high altitude areas, mountains, jungles, and the hinterland, the paradigm shift in applications of equipment and gadgets has been phenomenal and very exciting and intriguing for him. Then we have Mr. Jay Karnik. He oversees the Automation and Sortation Center Charter at Flipkart. In the Automation Charter, he seeks to use industry-leading methods to improve the supply chain and give higher value to end customers. They focus on integrating cutting-edge technology in their facilities and transporting goods to customers. The sortation facility is at the heart of Flipkart's distribution. It enables them to deliver goods to all parts of India at an unparalleled scale. And then we have Mr. Uyas Inamdar from Pune. He is commonly referred to as Drone Boy of India. He founded Berry IIT, a technology firm, when he was just 12 years old. A prodigy, certainly. He founded his company with the intention of using technology to revolutionize the learning process. Berry IIT has extensive knowledge in the field of drone and robotics technology. For the past 5 years, they have been developing a wide range of autonomous vehicle applications for use in industries as diverse as agriculture, construction, and package delivery. Wow, such a loaded panel. Once again, I welcome you all. Let's begin with a intriguing and industry impact question. My first question would be to Brigadier Arun Dravid. Arun sir, here's the question for you. How do you think drones will change the job landscape in India? In the logistics, e-commerce and agriculture sector particularly. It's predicted that 5 lakh jobs will be created because of the drone revolution in India. Which industry do you think would benefit the most from it?
Good morning to all of you, and thank you, Archit. I think before we really enter into this question, I would like to just reflect back as to when drones really came in, and what is the situation now as being a game changer. On a wider canvas, in fact. So, as far as the Indian context is concerned, the drones actually came in 1990 during the CAGR operations, and they were imported from Israel. And that was, I think, the first time when drones were very proactively used for, reconnaissance, target acquisitions, and various other things, which made things so easy for the battle to progress. So that was the first application of drones, and so it's been about 23 years now from that very limited start to where the drone status is actually now currently. Yes, there has been an immense growth, expansion, and both in terms of the units available, the trained the trained man force, as far as the pilots are concerned, the institutes are concerned, And so there has been a lot of development as far as this space is concerned. Now coming to the application of drones in various industries and how does it open up the jobs. It is important to understand that what is the infrastructure firstly for creating a job eligibility, because after all this is a very skilled highly skilled kind of a job, and so one will have to go undergo training, one will have to practice, one will have to be in constant touch with the machine, and also one will have to be fully acquainted with the operational legislations and the restrictions. Now in India currently, I think when we compare it in the international scenario, India is still a pilot project as far as the global map is concerned. So we have DGCA, which is the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, which is a vertical under the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and that is the regulating body for all the legislations and the various conditions and profiling and mapping and all those kind of things. So as per reports, probably India now has almost about more than 2 lakh 40,000 certified pilots. So we have a highly I would say a good bunch of pilots, but the utility is that they are not only standalone on these jobs, because the application of drones is still in its very nascent stage. It's not as compared to China or the US or Africa, where you can see clusters of drones moving around the airspace. So the application in India is very limited, and so therefore this pool of talent is still on the bench. Maybe 30 or 40% max would be doing aligning themselves to this particular job, but there is still a long way to go. Now considering the merchandise or the loads which the drones basically would be applied for, I feel it's the pharma industry, the disaster management activities, surveillance, and construction industry. These are some of the areas where drones basically are being considered, the application of and the utility of drones. So the jobs automatically will get aligned to these industries as of now. And if I may just point out, in 2019, the government of Maharashtra has taken up a partnership with Zipline. This is basically for very, very critical medical care and emergencies, and the grants are coming from SII, that is the Serum Institute in Pune. I'm sure Inamdar would reflect more details onto this. So basically it is I would say it's a start, but it's a very progressive start. And the most important thing would be that the governing bodies, with the help of the government, if they do a good hand holding, I am sure the journey will become more smoother, because the regulations which tie us up are very stringent, they are tough. And so in case there are some exemptions that are given in this, I feel the journey would be great. And there is a growth of almost 100% to 150% in some of the drone manufacturing companies. So it looks like it's a very exciting and a kind of a very niche kind of a job. And we also have a lot of pilots, commercial pilots, both on the rotary wing and the fixed wing. They're also available. So if DGCA has given the bandwidth for eligibility right from 18 years to 65 years, it's a big sort of a bandwidth where the availability of already skilled people who have got the reflexes for aeronautical or an aviation operation. I think it's great. So we don't really have to create a pool. We have a standing pool also of experts. So I feel it's going to be a very exciting journey. The job openings are very good, and of course the salary as of now is pretty low. It ranges anything between 35 to 50,000 per month, but I'm sure with the opportunities and each pilot handling different types of drones, advanced models, automatically the pay packages will also start becoming more healthier. So this is my viewpoint, which I have tried to cover in a nutshell.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Some very amazing facts and statistics. Certainly agree with you that while drones have come a long way, this is still more of a in a pilot phase in India. And while from a job market perspective, as of now, the salaries would not be very exciting. But in the coming years, definitely the skill sets will also rise with people, and so are going to be the salaries as well. Okay, so Jay, with that, now I come to you. What is your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the fact that drones are going to have an impact on the job market in India, and which industries do you think are going to be mostly impacted with that?
So, as Mr. Dravid said, right, he rightly articulated the kind of industries which we would start with, right? Pharma, defense, surveillance, because these are the. So, if you look at drones, right, like drones came in India in 1990, as Mr. Dravid said, but drones have been around since the 1930s, kind of thing, right? And those were very rudimentary RF controlled drones. Right, the drones today are much more advanced than that, but essentially when you say a drone, it's something which is unmanned, right, which can essentially okay, let me rephrase that, right, manned or unmanned, which can essentially take off from a point and go to another location, right, without very little human intervention. Now these industries, so over the years there were some standard applications of drones, right, which were there. So surveillance was one very big one, right, and now pharma is becoming a very key sector for drones, for the very simple reason that that's where the most value is, right? But slowly and steadily drones will actually permeate into a lot of the industries which we can't even imagine today, right? And there will be use cases which will emerge in each of the industries where applications of drones will be necessary. For example, in the logistics sector, right, let's say you want to transport a 40-foot container worth of material, right? For that, a drone might never be a feasible option, right? But let's say you have your hyper-local startups, right, which are essentially delivering goods in like 15-20 minutes kind of thing. These kind of companies will definitely find usage of drones. Definitely not to delivery at home, but delivery to, let's say, your society premises, from which somebody can, let's say, go and pick it up, or their own personnel can kind of pick it up from the society premises and deliver it to your house, right? Those are some application. Eventually, once this drone market evolves enough, you might even have drones taking off from one warehouse and landing at another warehouse or another delivery hub, right? Today, if that is needed, companies have to actually rely on air cargo companies, right? And so they still have to kind of go to the airport, then from the airport it goes to another airport, from the airport it goes to the warehouse, and then from there it gets distributed, right? These models will change. So we are in the middle of a very exciting time where these models are emerging, and we will see as the technology evolves, as government gets more confident on this technology and it relaxes the regulations further. This will have a lot of impetus, right? The government has actually taken a very progressive stand already, right? It has allowed drones up to a 500 kg capacity to kind of take off, right? Eventually that number will go higher. One fine day you might have like a drone which is as big as a 747 taking off from a warehouse directly and landing at another warehouse, right? We are a little far away from there, but that is the direction in which I see the industry moving.
Certainly agree with you, Jay. I think another amazing perspective to it that drones may be used more into B2B kind of an industrial, usage. I think there's still some more time to go while we reach a level where it starts getting utilized at a consumer level. Like you rightly pointed out that maybe imagining deliveries directly to home is we're still a little far from that. Great points, Jay. With that, Mr. Inamdar, I now come to you. Your thoughts. What do you think? How exactly the job market is going to be impacted through drone revolution, and what are those industries which, as per you, are going to be most benefited or impacted from it?
Thank you, Ajay. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to talk about widely over the question. So before I start, I like to say that specifically, as far as my knowledge is concerned, that when we are in a process to develop a manufacturing facility in next coming 1-2 years, so we have gone through a complete subject of yours, which is human resource, and to find out that what are the job has been created specifically for drone industry. So we got that there are specific kind of job which is only for drones is around 236 particularly. This is as per our research when we analyzed all the drone companies in India. So that was one calculation, and then second I found that already drone industry has given more than 50,000 jobs already in India. That is just specific to drone industry. So for example, if I may say, there is 100 drone companies which are doing good. So they have already covered 2,000 specific jobs. Then around 50,000 more jobs some have created with the drone pilots. Around 40,000 drone pilots are already there. Then the coming next, which is that I see that a lot of companies, MNCs and the traditional companies who are involved in various businesses like farming, like agriculture, like construction, they are hiring specific person for drone who understand drones. So why they are doing that? Because as we believe that everyone is saying that drone industry is like IT industry. In 2000, the dot-com boom has come. Similarly, there is a drone boom now. So everyone is to cope up with that speed. They are having one person who is understanding drone technology, and then they are giving a job that you help us to match up that speed and to think that how we can utilize drone in our operations. So we often get requests from many companies saying that that we want to implement drone, even that their industry is not specific for the drone, but they want to get into that. So we see that a lot of companies wants to come into drone. Then coming back to specific which I see about the drone industry, where I see a lot of potential. So drone delivery is going to happen and is already been tried various places. Like Mr. Arun said about the zip line with Maharashtra, that is happening very nicely in Maharashtra, and specifically in Pune and Mumbai, that cities around. Then coming back to next, I am connected to various institutions in India, in Rajasthan, in Maharashtra, in Karnataka, in Andhra Pradesh, across India I'm connected to. So I see that education is one of the place where hiring of drone expert is going on at a very high pace. because we see that that many people, for example, in 2022, the drone market was around 2,900 crore, which is growing by, it was from 2020 to I think 2022, the CAGR was 30%. And then from 2022 to 2025, the CAGR is approximately 80%. So from 2020, in spite of being in lockdown, still it has grown to 12,000 crores, the market value. But we see that that was a demand, but the drone industry have not been able to supply that demand perfect. The reason being is that the customer and the supply and the manufacturers both are not mature yet because of having various reasons. Some being indigenous, some being, for example, as Mr. David is from defense, so he understands that what is defense standards. So many companies, when they try to do indigenous products, they are not as per the defense standards, the quality of which defense requires. So that is one of the point. And then I see that education, particularly what is happening, that various universities after DGCA got remote pilot training organization, wherein the pilot gets licensed. Like we have RTOs for taking license for bike and car. We have RPTOs, remote pilot training organization, where any student after 10th standard can pursue that and become a drone pilot. So that is one avenue opening, and various universities I see, for example, Anna University in Chennai, then Cummins College in Pune, then Maulana Azad University in Jodhpur. So various universities are trying to bring courses on drone technology. So you see that each college is going to have at least 50 of staff, which is particularly would be carrying a job there. So you can multiply the number of colleges, and we have already there a big job requirement. Then secondly, I see that if you see architecture, if you see the civil engineering and agriculture courses, various courses, they have done compulsion. The government has done compulsion and included drones into that subject. Specifically, civil engineer has got GIS and all. So the ratio is 1:10. That one drone, one trainer, and 10 students. The ratio is 1:10, which soon to be changed. So 1:10, if you see that, you can understand that how many numbers of instructors they require. So that particular person should be from engineering background, plus there has to be done the course of drone pilot and all. So in Pune only, there are around 117 colleges which are major of engineering, and multiplying across India would be more than 1,000-2,000 colleges. So again, there is a huge requirement in training. And training is very important to plan and achieve the goal of making drone the hub of the world. So making India a drone hub of the world, we need to have trained people, skilled people, so we can achieve that goal. So various sectors, and specifically I may talk about, I urge students when I speak across India to various students, I say that you need to contribute into something. For example, if we see that there is a requirement of 2 lakh crore of the market, demand is of worth 2 lakh crore. Specifically unit wise, if I may say, there is a requirement of at least 3 lakh units. So when we have 3 lakh units of requirement, they can, if they make a propeller only, they are going to make money. If they're going to make a frame of the drone, they are going to make money. So there is a lot of opportunities, and we see that from many big major giants of manufacturing are shifting to India from China. So there is a very good sign for us that we need to work those lines and cope up with the demand of the world. Yes.
Okay, that's great. Amazing points from the drone boy of India. I think the key message is echoing in the room very uniformly, that while the drone revolution is still at its nascent stage, we are still evolving. I think there is a lot of room for evolution, and certainly initiatives are being taken at an industrial level, at an education level, to enable that. With that, I would like to bring in the reference, particularly what Jay said, that I think the impact of drone revolution is going to hit the B2B segment first, at an industrial level first, and the last mile deliveries for a consumer perspective might not be that viable, at least right now, and then still we are a little far from that. With that stems out my second question, and Jay, I would like to hit you first with this question. That do you believe that last mile delivery using drones is ever going to be viable in a country like India, because of how narrow spaces between buildings are, electrical wires hanging around like a spider's web, and people being cautious about their privacy? Do you think will drone tech for last mile delivery be ever be acceptable or viable in a country like India?
Hey, sorry, I was on mute. So it's really challenging to do last mile deliveries in a country like India, right? In fact, other companies have tried doing it in the Western world, where let's say housing is much more standardized, right? And people have houses, and even there they are facing challenges. So challenges like see, drones are little bit noisy, right? Especially the drones which exist today. So people, there have been complaints and about, let's say, if a drone is passing over my house while it's coming, right, it's going to be noisy and I'm going to get irritated. And if you have drones flying at odd hours in the night, that's going to actually disturb sleep, right? So that's going to become a problem. In India, that gets expounded more because of the issues which you mentioned. Again, a lot of urban India lives in apartments where you can't really have the drone coming in a lift, and if you have drones coming in and delivering goods in the balcony, then people will start have concerns about privacy and all of that, right? And those are valid concerns. So in a country like India, even in the long run, drone-based delivery, a flying drone-based delivery might not be possible. You still might have models emerge where let's say the drone delivers to a small robo in the society, and then the robo kind of goes into the lift and reaches your house, where then you get a message saying, hey, the robot has reached, retrieve your parcel from the box, kind of thing, right? So models like that may emerge, will take some time, right? But a flying drone delivering to your house is going to be challenging. So that component, right? So see, and another point which I'd kind of like to hit on is, see, there are a lot of concerns with any new technology, right? That there is going to be job loss and all of that, right? But that's not really true. Like, these technologies evolve, and new expertise is needed, and ultimately these things end up creating more jobs than there were before. It may not be the same kinds of jobs, right? So, if you were, let's say, a horse carriage driver before the invention of vehicles, then you would have probably been jobless, right? Because your only skill set was learning how to navigate horses, right? But you could always become a driver, right? And drive a car. So you would have to upskill. People would have to upskill, right? And that would be a core of any kind of technological shift which happens, where people have to learn new skills to kind of survive in the industry. But ultimately, that upskilling will also lead to better income for these people as compared to what they've been previously getting, right? So, for example, your today's, let's say, delivery operators, if they become drone operators, right? Your today's delivery operator gets maybe 12 to 15,000 a month. Now, if they become a drone operator, which is a little bit of upskilling, it's not a very great upskilling, but even what Mr. Dravid said, right? Even if the salaries were 35 to 50,000, for them it would actually be a quantum leap, right? Going from a 15,000 salary to a 35,000 salary. So those things will happen as time evolves, right? More jobs will open up, and while I don't believe that last mile delivery will be possible in the near future, but I don't think there's too much concern which people should have on job loss because of the advent of drones and all of that.
Interesting points, Jay. This certainly reminds me of the year 2016, when I was also working with one of the largest pizza companies of the world. And I was very excited to know that in Australia, particularly, the company started piloting drone deliveries. While it came out fairly successful in Australia, I always kept wondering that when are we going to start that in India? So I think, yeah, very well thought of point, Jay. Okay, so with that, Arun sir, I come to you. Your thoughts on the fact that, do you think drone deliveries, particularly the last mile deliveries, are ever going to be viable or possible in a landscape like India?
At the outset, I will say yes. But one needs to understand, that actually, what do we mean by a last mile delivery? Is it only applicable to consumers in metros, or is it applicable to consumers in far-flung places? Is it really beneficial for emergencies? So there are two very important things which emerge. One is that as per the restrictions of drone operations, there are three zones. There is a red zone, there is a yellow zone, and there is a green zone. Now, for any drone operation in the red zone, it is a highly restricted zone where only central government gives the approvals for any kind of drone operations. Now, if you see any metro, for example, you will have an airport within vicinity, you will have certain government establishments, you will have, so in fact, metros, I feel, would have almost, it'll almost become a red zone. Barring, places which would fall into the yellow zone, which are restricted, but it will require permission of the nearest ATC, the ATC towers at the airports, whether it is a controlled airport or an uncontrolled airport, a defense base or a commercial airport kind of a thing. And of course, green zone, is unrestricted, so there is no problem in any kind of a drone operation. So this is one very important aspect which will have to be understood by the drone operators or the companies, and also it has to be known to the consumers as to in which kind of a zone they are in. Because if they're in the red zone and without any proper permission, if they are applying for drone services, it will not happen. They may not get the deliveries. So this is one very important aspect which needs to be understood. But coming to a point where we should, make an awareness as to, okay, what is the last mile delivery? So can we experiment it in Rajasthan? Can we experiment it, in the Far East? Can we experiment it in J&K? I think India is the only country which has got a complex terrain configuration. It has got mountains, it has got deserts, it has got, snowbound areas, it has got plains, and it has got coastlines. So what happens is that once we know where is the feasibility of the last mile delivery actually giving the outcome beyond 70%, because otherwise it will not be viable, the second thing is, if we understand the concept of a last mile delivery, it is transportation of merchandise from the nearest distribution hub to the final destination. It could be business or it could be a home. Now the thing over here is, where is the distribution hub? Because that will also dictate the range, it will dictate, the time, it will, also dictate whether we need relay stations, for, because the other point is what the DGCA lays down is the drones have to be within virtual, I would say virtual distance, visible distance from the pilot. Now, most of the last mile deliveries will go beyond this, because otherwise, it's no point, doing a delivery within 100 meters or 500 meters. And especially in urban areas, getting a clear line of sight for a long range delivery is very, very difficult unless and until you're operating a drone from a launch pad, where you can see as the crow flies. Yes, this last mile delivery concept in urban areas, in metros, is going to be a big challenge. But to start and see its efficacy, I think there should be a great handholding between the private and the PSUs with government sanctions to see the efficacy, especially in far-flung areas where casualty evacuation is a problem. There are natural calamities like land, roadblocks and all the landslides and those kind of things what we experience. So there, in case this whole project is sort of put in, and the nation is made to see as to what is the efficacy, then there will be a lot of minds coming into as to how do we make the last mile delivery more useful, more efficient, and what all iterations are required, so that we can have exemptions in the existing policy. We can drive the state governments into that okay, if you want a last mile delivery in a particular state, please define the operation zones, those kind of things. It is very, very feasible, but I think there is some homework to be done on ground with the government, with the DGCA, and with the operating companies. I think this kind of a collaboration will make there will be a lot of clarity in this mist. But yes, in my opinion, it is possible. But I think where we are actually targeting, we are actually looking at a last mile delivery only at homes or in gardens, But I think we need to grow out of that and make it on a larger scale. Make it where the need is there, where people are where surface communications has its limitations. Those are the areas where we can sort of tap and really make this thought or this vision more successful.
Interesting, Arun sir. So now I see a strong optimism kicking in from Brigadier Arun Dravid, that you certainly, while the challenges spoken by Jay are certainly there, but then there can be different meanings that could be construed out of the jargon last mile delivery. And there are several advancements that can kick in and can in turn enable the last mile deliveries through drone. So with that, Mr. Inamdar, I come to you. Now that Jay has already spoken, what are those challenges in the pathway of last mile deliveries through drones? And now we have a strong optimism from Arun sir saying that yes, it is going to be possible, considering that there are going to be certain advancements. So your thoughts on that, Mr. Inamdar, what are those things that you feel are going to be some very much required advancements that would help us in enablement of last mile deliveries in a landscape like India?
Yes, Archit, thank you for the question. So I do agree with Arun sir and Jay sir about the said thing. So as you, Mr. Archit asked that what is the advancements we see and what is the future going to be and how the challenges will be solved. So I'd like to talk about a little bit what Uber conceptualized in 2013, I think, 2013. So what they did, they had created a thing called, and that is known as urban air mobility. So what is urban air mobility? Wherein what happens that I take a mobile phone and I just say that I want to go from, for example, Bandra to Kurla, or I select Bandra to Dadar, something like that. So wherever I am standing, so the nearest building has helipad. Their urban air mobility will come, and then I'll go and sit. There will be no men, which will be a drone, and I will be at my place in 10 minutes. So this time when I saw that, I was 13 years old, in exactly 2013. So I was amazed by that thing, and so on. After I grown, I realized that what we need if we want to achieve that kind of thing. So I see, if from a layman perspective, what I see is what we are lacking is mainly real estate. First is real estate, second is battery technology. These two things are a very major thing which is need to be done. Otherwise, the autonomous and the control systems and all are matured and will get more matured by the time. But the two things, which is real estate and urban and mobility. But I'm not saying that it is not happening. It is already happening, but with not with unmanned aerial vehicle, but with some possibility. There is a company called Blade. You in Pune also the service is available. I take my mobile phone and I book from I want to go Pune to Mumbai. So you must be aware of Trump Towers in Mumbai and Pune metro cities. So created by the former President Donald Trump. So they have towers in Pune and Mumbai. So when I go Pune to Mumbai, I just have to select my time and I can go on to Blade and then I can reach Mumbai in 50 minutes, whereas it takes 5 hours to reach Mumbai. So that is one of the examples that how urban mobility is going to come. Now, from the point of view that how last mile delivery, and when we do not have, how that would be possible, and the challenge Mr. Arun sir highlighted that mainly the zones, red zone, green zone, and how we will avoid that. So there is something called, which was from DGCA, called UTM, Unmanned Traffic Management System. The policy has been, I think last year they got UTM, Unmanned Traffic Management System. So what it is, UTM? So UTM, I'm again coming to main thing, which is that in future, telecom industry is one of the biggest beneficiary of drone industry. So how? Every drone is going to have a SIM card. So every drone is going to have, so we have 3 lakhs drones coming every year. So you can multiply the user base, which is going to increase of a telecom company. So every drone is going to have a SIM card for making drone unmanned traffic management system easier. So there will be only defense areas wherein there would be restricted in future, and other places which is civil and which is not restricted, there will be a traffic management system, and the drone would communicate with each other. Having the purpose, the SIM card would help drone communicate with each other, and because of that, zone are temporary basis, because people were flying anywhere and entering anyone's privacy. But when the drone industry grows, there will be UTM, unmanned traffic management system, and then DGCA got UIN also, that some the drone can be tracked as the number plate. But that is okay. But how to track that when and where a drone is flying? So with the help of UTM, the drone is being tracked like mobile phone is being tracked everywhere, if a government authority wants. So similarly, a drone can be tracked with the help of UTM. To solve that problem, I generally say that we are also connected to various real estate companies in Pune, like Kolte Patil, Goel Ganga Group, and etc. So I had a discussion with the various people saying that can we have a specific location for drones to promote drone? For example, if I want to drop something from camp to NIBM, so in NIBM area, there would be societies where they have a specific location for drone, where a drone will come and drop the package. Like we have when we go to airports, when we go to station, we have a Uber zone, we have a Ola zone. So can we have something? So this is not particularly which can be 100% successful, but can be a step towards making a last mile delivery and familiarizing the system. And we see that India is a kind of the kids and all here are very what we say, they would come and pick up a drones. There is a system where many companies like Zipline use, that they put with like a parachute mechanism, they drop a package into a specific area, so there would no risk like that. And all the what we say, the light connections, electrical grids and all would be under 50 meters. So the drone can fly up to 50 meters and drop the packages, and can solve the terrain issues with that. Because if we see that various terrain, some buildings are of 100 meters, some buildings are of 150 meters. So to avoid that, we have the possibilities of having a terrain mapping system, which is already exists in the drone, and many drones are already utilizing. that systems. And then Arun says one more question and light which he had was thrown. For example, we have different places like Rajasthan, we have Kashmir, so various different conditions across the globe. So the companies like Idea Force, they had created drones where we say that created like a bird, tested like a tank. So that is possible that to achieve that in slowly in future, that we are going to have that kind of things wherein we will be able to already it is happening, but not regularly. It can't happen when we do manufacturing at a very high pace, so the cost of product will decrease, and when the cost of product will decrease, the usage of the drone would increase in everyone's life, I can say. Then I want to highlight one of the things. I am connected to some of my friends in US, some of my friends in China who are working on the drone, and some friends who were from India, but they went to US and China to work into their industry of drones, because they thought that the drone industry in US and China are much ahead than India. But when I discussed that with them now, that what is the situation in India and those countries, so I was happy to hear that we are not much far, and we are not far actually. We are nearly on the same page. Maybe they would be we would be on a middle, and they would be down somewhere in some aspects. But it is, I was happy to know that we are not behind in this with the other countries, and our government is much more serious than any other government in the world with the concern of drone. And the government is supporting actually very nicely with PLI scheme. For example, if a drone manufacturer has 50 lakh rupees turnover in particularly components, so they will get a grant to manufacture. And I would say that it is so easy to get once you are approved, and they're making it easy. So in this particular manner, drone, I may say that the things are easy. And when we regularly say that I'm working for becoming a defense contractor, or I'm I want to supply something to defense, so people will say that's not possible. That is very difficult. You can't supply to defense. You need this license, that license. But if we see with the drones, it has become very easy. And defense personnel, I say that across India, if you take 10 companies, 7 are from defense. So all the wing commanders, all the colonels, I closely work with Mr. Colonel Idris Khan from Jodhpur. So he's also involved in drone, and I also various defense personnel are getting involved into drone industry, and they are saying that this problem we are facing. So you produce drone for this situations. So working with government is also becoming easier in drones. I can't say all industries, but particularly if we say drone industry, the government is making things easier for them. And various startups, for example, we are working with IIT Delhi to establish a center of drone, wherein a startup can come and try his indigenous thinking and make a drone ready there. Be it an electronic speed controller, a flight controller, a body. The motor is yet to come. Motor is very difficult to do, but other parts such as body, such as electronic seat controller, such as flight controller, the testing facility is being done. So I'd like to conclude now, and Mr. Archit, thank you so much. Yeah.
On a lighter note, I really love the Rajasthan reference coming up, in regular conversations. I'm actually from Udaipur, Rajasthan, so really love that context. So, okay, so jokes apart, I think some very interesting perspectives, coming up. One thing which unanimously came up from all our experts is that while there is always an apprehension whenever there is a technological advancement disrupting any of the industry, that whether it's going to make an impact on jobs. But certainly, as we have always said, that automation is not going to kill jobs, but it's actually going to free us from a lot of mundane jobs, so that we free ourselves to do something more intelligent. I think so is going to be the case with the drones revolution as well. Today, people who are enabling last mile deliveries, tomorrow they might be the drone pilots of the future. So this very important thought that just came out. Also, regarding last mile deliveries and its viability, Jay brought out some very interesting and some very practical points that yes, these are certain things. Whether it's electrical wire systems or people's privacy or an irregular kind of terrain across the country. Last mile deliveries are definitely going to be challenging in a landscape like India. At the same time, we see the possibility of technological advancements and perhaps different meanings of last mile delivery. I think particularly that what was referred by Brigadier Arun Dravid, that maybe last mile delivery essentially may not be direct home or door to door delivery, but perhaps it could be a common spot in a suburb or maybe in a society kind of a place. Also, another important fact that came out is that in order to solve these challenges and in order to enable the drone revolution in India at a full scale, while it is at a nascent stage in India right now, it is important that advancements happen in both areas, in technological areas and in regulatory areas as well, because we need a strong governance mechanism and a governance structure. And the relationship is going to be very bilateral. Whatever technological advancements happen, they need to be fed back into the governance structure, and then governance structure need to be making policies in order to bind the technological advancements to be. So very interesting points made out from all our expert panelists. Thank you, Jay. Arun sir, thanks to you, Mr. Inamdar. It was really wonderful having you here on this discussion. Now I think we should start picking up questions from our audience. The TeamLease team, if we could have questions in the Q&A tab. Okay, so we see a lot of questions here. I'm not sure if we'll be able to pick up all of those. Let's pick up one of these, and our audiences, please don't be disheartened if we are not able to address your questions right now. We're certainly going to get back to you. We'll post all these questions to our panelists offline, and we'll get their answers for you. So we have first question. Let's pick this one. Can you describe the most significant changes that you expect to see brought about by drones in various industries? It is projected that by 2025, India will have the third largest drone market worldwide. What are your thoughts on whether or not this is a realistic objective? So I think impact on industries has certainly been discussed by all the panelists. But yeah, the objective of making it a third largest drone market worldwide by 2025, how realistic this target is?
2 years time span might be too short a time span for us to kind of reach that scale. See, it also depends on what you mean when you say third largest, right? Given the size of India, given the population of India, given the kind of industries we actually need to kind of service that population, it definitely, from a pure quantum point of view, we might get there. I'm not saying we won't, right? But will we be able to see the kind of goodness that is there worldwide? I don't think the market itself is mature enough. Our regulations themselves are not mature enough to kind of get us there, right? Right now, I think what is being before 2021, right? So the government actually came out with drone rules in 2021, which actually liberalized the sector to a large extent, right? Before that, beyond visual line of sight flights were not allowed at all, right? So you could practically fly a drone to up to like a half a kilometer kind of thing, beyond which it was not allowed by law to kind of fly it, right? That changed, and now the market is evolving where we can do flights much longer, right? We've done flights up to from a few kilometers to up to even 100 kilometers are now a possibility, right? However, we have to kind of see where this kind of comes to. So from a volume perspective purely, yeah, we might get there, but it also depends largely on the maturity level of our industry, of the customers, of the government, and it's a tough question to answer right now.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks. Amazingly answered. So, just quickly, your thoughts that how realistic is the objective that by 2025, we are actually going to be the third largest drone economy.
So I think the objective setting is very ambitious, because every iteration in terms of policy, in terms of regulations, in terms of the zone mapping, and so many things what we've just gone through will take time. And secondly, what happens is that there is a lot of competition internationally also. So and then government has put a ban on imports, because the Make in India thing is on very aggressively. And because of this ban, it is there is a surge of drone manufacturing companies within the country. So for them to mature to come up to international standards in terms of technology and in terms of application, I think will require a longer period. So I guess I think 2030 in my view could be a more realistic kind of a template for seeing a change quite visible. Yes, statistically it might show changes, like for example that okay, we have so many pilots, we have so many jobs, but is it actually in competition with the global setup is what we'll have to see. So I think 2030 should be a more realistic kind of a end point.
Great thoughts, Arun sir. Cool. So now, in the interest of time, let's just quickly take one more question from the audience. Mr. Inamdar, this one is for you. Apart from the spraying of pesticides, how can drone be used in the agriculture sector? Mr. Inamdar.
Yes. So the question is, apart from spraying of pesticides, how can drone be used in agriculture sector? So there are various applications around agriculture, and agriculture being one of the oldest beneficiary of the drone industry particularly. So I'll just say from example of how the government is utilizing, and the farmers are not much what we say rich to take the drone. The foundation and the CSR funds are helping farmers use that drone. So particularly in Mumbai, the Wadhwani Foundation and all them working on to that. For example, if I have a land and now I can do crop identification. For example, we have tomatoes, we have onions, we have some different vegetables. So if I have that in around 5 acres, 10 acres. So to see as a person, that would be difficult. So as an owner, I want to see that what all I have. So I can fly my drone and I can see that which crop is there. Crop identification. I can do that with the drone. Then, for example, we have to see that as a farmer, I want to see that what is the crop health identification system. So if all the plants have received proper resources or not, I can see that with thermal sensor that which area is affected. So I can look at that particular area. For example, if I have 1,000 acres, I want to see that which area has been affected. I can go and fly a drone and see in minutes that which particular area has been damaged because of the sun, because of some moistures and all. So I can identify that. So then, when we have farm, we have to see that if there is an abnormal growth of the plant. So with the drones, we can see that abnormal growth of the plant as well. Then if I want to see for example, if I am a rose producer, so I want to see that what is the length of the stem. I can see the length of the stem also. I can see how many flowers are there. So the counting, the scouting and all can be done with the drones. So the example when I say there was one flower, India's largest flower manufacturer. So in one unit, they had 34,000 plants. So that was multiplied by 100. So to analyze that how many flowers are there, to analyze what is the stem size, then if there is an abnormal growth, if the earthing has been done properly, they have to take out the mud and put it again. So if the earthing has been done, if the pesticides has been done, so this all things can be done with the drone in farming particular.
Very, very enlightening response, Mr. Inamdar. So with that, this exciting discussion comes to an end. Our subscribers, thank you for joining in. I agree that there are certain questions which have been left unanswered. Don't worry, we'll keep you posted on these responses. We'll pass on these questions to our expert panelist and we'll get responses for you. With that, thank you, Mr. Jay Karnik. Thank you, Mr. Inamdar. Thank you, Brigadier Arun David. It was really amazing having you here. Great insights, interesting facts. This was truly a very engaging session. And thanks TeamLease team for orchestrating this so smoothly. This is Archit Rajesh, your host, signing off. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.